Good evening, everyone. So I think I'm audible and again visible as well, right? Is it? Okay, thank you. So, guys, you can use your chat. I think most probably chat is enabled for everyone. So, unfortunately, if not, guys, you can use Q&A section, right? So, yeah. So let's start today's session. Let me share my screen. So, yes. Right. I think my screen is also visible. If it is, guys, you can raise your hand and confirm. I think my screen is visible, right? Thank you for confirmations. So, guys, today we are going to talking about the GitHub action, right? So let's start talking about the GitHub actions. So before moving to today's session, let me introduce myself. I'm Nizar Gunawardana. I'm a software engineer at Oli AI. Not only that, guys, I'm a Microsoft Learning Student Ambassador, again, Postman Student Leader, GitHub Campus Experts, and again, Microsoft for Startup Scout as well. So yeah, so let's move to today's session. Today we are going to talking about how to time saving of the developers. So as a developer, how many times have you manually deployed tested your code? So guys, I think as the developer, at the beginning, I did these things so many times. So developers repeat the same task again and again. So testing, again building and deploying. Yeah, developer do the same task in the uh, again and again. So that's mean our time is waste. So that's why GitHub introduced. So that's why GitHub introduced GitHub Actions for the developer. So guys, what is the GitHub Action? GitHub Action is the automation tools. Yes, GitHub Action is the automation tool built in the GitHub. So I think as the uh, developer, you have a good idea about the GitHub. If not having idea about the GitHub, guys, you can ref my already existing learning resources available in my GitHub accounts. And again, some video series you can find on the Nizar Gunawardana YouTube channel as well. Right. So now we are talking about the GitHub action. It's somewhat advanced things, but it's very simple, guys. You can learn about the GitHub action and then you can action within the GitHub action. So that's the thing, right? So actually, GitHub is the automation tools. Maybe you heard about the automation engines, and maybe you heard about the role-based thing. So actually, GitHub Action is automation tools. That's like a role-based system, right? And it helps to automate a developer pain points like testing, again building, and again deploying. So, guys, GitHub Action is a CI/CD tool that automates your development's workflow. That's the thing. That's why we need to using GitHub Action. Right. When we talk about the GitHub Action, we can see few main components in the GitHub Action. So, as the beginner for the GitHub Action, we need to learn these key points, these key concepts. The first key concept and the first keyword is workflow. When we talk about the GitHub Action, so we need to write a workflow file for our actions. So we write a workflow files in this particular locations that support to GitHub Action. Actually, we write all codes and all action things inside of the workflow file. So GitHub, when you talk about the GitHub Action, it has so many components. It has so many action. So all things are inside of the workflow, right? I think just you got the idea about the workflow. I think just you know about what is workflow, right? So second component is events. So when we talk about the workflow and when we talk about the GitHub, the event is the starting point. So actually, the event is the triggering point. So we know in the GitHub action, we try to do something in automation. For starting the automation, we need to some starting point. So for that, we are using events. We call that point to events, and event is what triggering the process. So the workflow is starting in the events. So we know in the GitHub we have see some few events like push, again pull, again issues. Yeah, we can see a few type of events. Anyway, we can create a starting point within the that kind of event. So for example, when we pushed, we can say uh, just trigger this particular workflow. Guys, someone are waiting in the lobby. Let me add them, right? So yeah, cool. Okay, another one, right? Cool. Okay, right. So we just talk about the workflow, and again, we just talk about the events. Guys, perfect. Now I think you have an idea about what is workflow, and again, what is event. So the third one is jobs. When we talk about the job is a major part of the process. Actually, in the GitHub Actions, in the GitHub workflow, we can see several job types. We write a lot of jobs for doing a particular task, doing on particular points for forms, right? So that's why we are using jobs. And when we talk about the jobs, inside of the jobs, we can add steps by steps. We can just instruction to the particular jobs, first doing this step and again doing these steps. So like those kind of things, we can define a several steps in the jobs. So now you have idea about the what is workflow, and again what is the event and what is the jobs, and just you know guys what is the step as well, right? So yeah, again we have another one component component in the GitHub action. So that one is runner. So actually, runner is who does run the job. The runner is supposed to run the job. Sometimes this runner is inside of the GitHub servers. Sometimes we can define our own runners as well. So it depends on our action performs, right? Yeah. Right. Now, let's see step by step how to create a workflow. As the first step, guys, we have to create a workflow file. So let's see how we can create a workflow file. So when we talk about the workflow file, so that particular file type is a YAML file. We are using YML extensions for that particular file types. So and again, we have a particular location. In several points, I mentioned the workflow files location must be in .github/workflows file. Again, I mentioned that particular part must be in .github/workflow file, right? So here you can see folder structure. So first we have .github file, and again, then the .github file in the root of our repository, and the second one is a workflow file inside of the .github file, and inside of that particular workflows file, we can add our workflow files or our GitHub Actions files. So inside of this particular YAML file, we write our GitHub Actions states, right? Just you know the first step of the GitHub action, right? Well done. So then when we talk about the folder structure, I think in this place, you can identify what is the correct folder structure in very clearly. So this is our root file. In the root file, we can see .github file, and inside of the GitHub file, we can see a workflows file. And inside of that particular workflow files, we can see docker build.yaml file, right? Just how we can create a .yaml file or our GitHub action file in our particular repository. So the special thing is I'm again mention the particular GitHub action file, I mean .yaml file must be in the .github/workflow files, right? Cool. So in this picture, you can get a proper idea about the particular location, right? Cool. So I think now you have good idea about the first steps. Let's move to second steps. So when we create the file as the first step of the YAML file, inside of the YAML file, first we have to add the name for that particular GitHub actions. So in my case, I'm using a name of that particular task as the Hello World workflow, right? Cool. Then what we need to do? Then we have to add a particular trigger point. Here we can see the triggering point we are starting within the on command, and here we can see the particular events type push. When push in the branch of main or a develop branch, the workflow must dispatch, right? So that's how we define the events, right? Cool. Just you have good idea about the second steps as well, right? Now we have to talk about the third steps, right? So yeah, so in these slides you can see a mistake. So steps number is same, but this is a third step, right? So in the third steps, we can define a jobs, right? We can define a jobs. When we talk about the jobs, the every jobs is start within the jobs tags, and inside of the jobs tags we add a particular jobs name. And then what happened? Then we add a runner. So in this example, this particular jobs run on the Ubuntu latest server. That means the Ubuntu latest server inside of the GitHub, right? Cool. So this is our fourth step, right? So when you talk about the fourth step, what you have to do? So in the fourth step, we have to define steps. That's the thing. So we already talked about the jobs, and in this place, I already told that inside of the jobs, we can see several steps. Maybe one, maybe more than one, right? So yeah. So like that, guys, here you can see, we can see a few steps. The first step's name is print hello, and in case run echo, and echo means it's printed hello from GitHub Actions. And second one is print current time, and here you can see run performance, and again you see another steps as well. Right now, you have good idea about the how to write a particular GitHub action file, right? First, what we have to do? First, we create a particular file. Then what happened? Then we have to add name. and again. Then we have to add a triggering point. I mean the events. Then we have to define a jobs and we have to define a steps. Then what we have to do? Then that's mean our particular CI pipeline is completed, right? That's a good news. But this is the very, very simple CI pipeline. So here you can see complete CI pipeline. So here we add a particular name for that special GitHub action. And here you can see events. We start with the main event, and these events that performs on the push. And here you can see jobs, and here you can see job defining, and here you can see steps as well. Right. That is how the particular CI pipeline is work. Right. When we talk about the GitHub action, in the action we can see the particular thing, the particular best practice in the GitHub action. It is called caching, right? Let me explain. So when we talk about the caching, it's very, very important for the GitHub action performance, right? So let's see without caching what happened. So we have a particular GitHub actions file like this, right? Thing like this file. Then so first time we run that particular file. In case assume we need to get the particular package called not module package, right? For run the particular task, we need to uh, npm packages, right? So in the first run, it's download and it's take 85 minutes and then it's run, right? In the second run, without caching, the particular packages download again. In the third run, it's download again. But within the cache, it's totally different, right? In the first run, that particular packages are download and caching. Download and caching. But in the second run, what happened? They don't try to again download. They don't try to download again. Then what happened? Then in the second case, they are using a cache. So that means in the second time, it's very, very speeds. So yeah, that's a particular things. So in this caching concept, we are not only using the GitHub Actions, sometimes in the developments, we are using cache. So maybe you heard about the Redis caching or something. So you can learn about the caching. Caching is the very, very important component, very, very important concepts for the developments, right? Also, it's very important for the GitHub actions. So here you can see clearly what happened without caching and with caching. I think it's very clear to you. So guys, if you have any kind of questions regarding up to this point, you can add that particular questions for your chat, right? In the Teams chat, or you can create a QA if chat is not available for you guys. So I think now up to this point, it's very clear to you, right? Okay. Now, here again, I add some good explanation about the caching. So let's see how it's worked. So in the first run, when we add the cache, let's see what happened. In the first run, look for the cache. In the first run, we cannot found the cache, right? In the first run, we cannot found the cache. That's me. Then run npm install and download all npm packages and same time save to cache that particular packages save in the cache. So in the next run, what happened? In the next run, so looking for the cache, right? Then what happened? Then we can found the particular file in the cache storage. So in case we restore the cache and we run the cache instantly and we use npm install using a cache, right? In the second time, the the particular task is performed very well in the very speed, right? So that's why we need to cache for a GitHub action, right? So in this place, guys, you can see how we can define a cache module, right? Here we can see when we need to add some cache for a GitHub action, what we need to do. Here we can see we first we need to define that particular uh, cache things within the name. Here we can see I add a name as the cached node module. So in my case, I'm planning to cache the node module. So that's why I add this particular name. Here you can see cache node module. And here, this is very important. In this case, we are using a GitHub action package called action slash cache version 4, right? Here you can see I'm use action slash cache v4. And here we can see with I'm adding some path and again key and again restore key. So in this case, guys, what happened? Just find the path. If cache is not found, then what happened? Then run the particular OS and then get download that particular packages and at the cache. And yeah, so that's how this one is work. So guys, you can try out some GitHub action within the cache. uh yeah, you can try out these things. So I think now you have a good idea about up to this point, right? Especially I think you have a good idea about the GitHub action caching, right? So let me explain some what it. Right. So let's move to next slides. Yeah. So now we have to talking about metrics strategy. So why we need to metrics strategy? So it's very important to run multiple versioning. Sometimes think this kind of scenario, right? We create a Node.js plus Express app for our particular backends, right? So we need to run the particular not just backend in the our Windows PC. So, but sometimes some users use this particular backend in their MacBook, in their Mac server, in their Ubuntu server. So this or sometimes they have a different kind of Node.js version. So it can be happen. No? So that's why we are using metric strategy for testing multiple environment or run the particular one things in a multiple version. So for that, we can use this kind of GitHub Actions code, right? Cool. So here, let me explain this code. Here we can see create metrics strategy for three Node.js versions and two OS types. So let me explain how we can do this, right? So actually, the metrics run the same jobs multiple times with the different configuration. So that is the clear explanation about the matrix. Anyway, here we can see how we can create a matrix. We can use strategy keywords and again we add matrix keywords and here we can see we define a particular Node.js versions. So we need to run that particular Node.js backend in the Node.js 18 and again 2022, right? We add all of the version in this place. Then again, I need to test the particular version, particular backend run on OS Ubuntu latest, and again Windows latest, right? Once we define this metrics strategy, then what I have to do? Then what I have to do? Then I have to define a particular runner. In this place, here you can see I add a particular runner as the matrix.os, right? In this place, I attach matrix as the runner, right? Let me explain this example clearly again, right? First, here we define the strategy within the strategy keywords. And again, here we add a matrix keywords for writing matrix. And then I define Node.js versions. In my case, I add three type of versions: 18, 20, 22. And again, I need to run this particular Node.js back in two type of OS versions. Here I add uh, Ubuntu letters and again Windows letters. Then I define a runner. I define a runner. I need to run these particular things on metric OS. So we know runner is the runtime environments. Actually, it's a server, right? Here I add that particular things here as the Ubuntu latest and uh, Windows latest. Here you can see I add a particular variable called metrics.os. Metric.os mean metrics and then OS. That's mean this I need to run these things on this array. That's mean we need to run these things on Ubuntu latest and again Windows latest. I think now you can understand clearly how it's happened, right? I think so, right? Then then I define steps, and in these steps, use action set up node. That's mean we are installing nodes for that particular versions. And here we can see with node versions. And in this place, I clearly mentions what are the versions. So yeah, in my case, I add Node.js version 18, 20, 22, right? So that's mean the particular Node.js versions are 18, 20, 22, right? Then what happened? So in case we can see create six parallel jobs automatically. So let me explain how to do that one. So the thing is we can see first jobs within the Node.js version 18 and again Ubuntu latest. The second job is Node.js version 20 within Ubuntu latest. Then Node.js version 22 within the Ubuntu latest. Then what happened? Then uh, Node.js version 18 again within the Windows latest and 20 within the Windows latest and 22 within the Windows latest. So that's how create six parallel jobs automatically using Matrix. So this is very, very simple concepts. In the GitHub Action, this concept is very important to us guys, right? It's very, very important to us, right? So guys, yeah, you can try out these things as well. So let's talk about the small summary, right? Yeah, let me go back. So here we talk about the key components about the GitHub action. Now we know what is the workflow and how it's work and how we create the workflow files. And again, we know about the events. And again, we know about the jobs and the steps. And again, we know about the runners, right? Okay. As the first step, we create the file. And then here you can see folder structure. Again, I already told this, but again, I need to clarify this one. The workflow files must be in GitHub.github files, and again, uh, in the workflows file, right? And the GitHub tag is YAML, right? So extension is .yml, right? Then what happened? In the second step, we define events that we called for that particular events as the trigger. That is the start points. When you talk about the events, we can see a few type of events. Sometimes push, sometimes pull, sometimes yeah, you can find out so many more things about the events, right? This is brief introductions. And as the third step, what we have to do? we have to define a jobs. And again, in the jobs, the particular thing is runs on mean that's the runner, right? The running environment. We can use GitHub in build runtime versions, or we can attach our own runtime versions. So in case we are using Ubuntu latest, that's mean it's inside of the GitHub action, I mean GitHub servers, right? Then what we have to do, then we have to define the steps, and here we can see complete CI pipeline. And again, we are talking about the cache of the uh, cache for the actions. Now you have good idea about the what is cache and how it works, and without cache and with cache, what happened within the GitHub actions. Now you get great understanding about the importance of the caching. And here I explain about the caching step by steps. I think now you got the great idea about the caching, right? Then I talk about the metrics strategy. It's very important for the testing purposes. And again, it's very important for the GitHub action things, right? I think now you got it, right? Let's see deployment pipeline. So just we know about the CI/CD things and how it's work, automation within GitHub Action. Actually, we know GitHub Action is the CI/CD tool. And let's see how the deployments pipeline work. Right. Let me explain. Right. First, when we talk about the deployment pipeline, first test the particular things. Then what happened? Then first we test the test cases. Then what happened? Then we build, and then we staging. In the staging things, we can add some logic for the manual approval. If we don't need to manual approval within these automations, we can move to production, or we can move to within the manual approval as well. Right. Here you can see some kind of small example for the deployment pipeline. Here, what happened? In the jobs, first we can see first steps as the uh, test. What happened? That test cases run on Ubuntu latest. And second step is run npm test. That's mean inside of the Node.js, a particular Node.js application, we define npm test cases. And when we run to the npm test, that's mean that particular test cases files running, and we can see the result. If those things are passed, then we move to the build. So here you can see a build one and the particular keyword. You need to understand about the needs particular keywords. Here we add needs, colon, and text. What is it that's meaning? That's mean we are waiting for the pass the this steps. So if this test is failed, that means the whole GitHub action is stops and it's failed, right? Here we add needs keywords, and that means we are waiting for the uh, test to pass, right? That's the special things. Once test cases are passed, then what happened? Then we move to the second step. Second steps, this build is run on also Ubuntu latest, and then the steps we define for the particular job. So here we can see run npm run build. That means our particular npm or Node.js backend is built. So I'm here talking about the Node.js backend, and I already told about the Node.js backend. So in the first time we get the example. In that example, we're talking about the Node.js backend. That's why I already talked about the Node.js backend. So in the GitHub action, we can use for any kind of development, right? Not only for the Node.js or npm, we can use these things for Java, again Python, and any kind of development, right? Cool. So then what happened? Then deploy staging points, and here again we can see need one. So uh, needs mean it's again waiting for build. Once build, then move to the that's particular uh, jobs. And then here you can see environment staging. So again, in the deploy productions jobs, here what you can see needs deploy staging. That's mean waiting for the staging. And here you can see environment production. So in this case, we can require approval or not. Maybe we can update our production within the approval or without approval, right? So that's how a deployment pipeline works. Now, I think you have a good idea about the GitHub Actions and again about the deployment pipeline thing. So this is very, very simple example. So in the industry and in the real world case scenarios, guys, you have to make somewhat advanced things, right? It's true, right? Yeah. So now we have to try some demo things. Guys, here you can found the particular GitHub repository. Maybe you already completed the particular repository I create for the students to learn about the GitHub action. In the repository, you can find out three types of tasks. First one is GitHub action beginners, and second one is GitHub action intermediate, and third one is GitHub actions advanced. So as the students, as the developer, guys, you can try out this repo and you can learn a lot and you can complete this task and you can gain practical knowledge about the GitHub action. And then what you have to do, then you can grab the particular digital badge and you can showcase your knowledge in your LinkedIn and in your GitHub accounts. Yeah. So how you can find this particular GitHub action learning repository? Guys, you can scan this QR or guys, you can move to the particular .url. So again, let me share the particular .url with you guys. So I'm just copying GitHub rep. Yes, let me copy again. Yeah, let me copy. So this is particular repository link. I just copy it and move to chat and paste it. So if you are not able to access the chat, guys, what you have to do, you can scan this particular URL or you can just type the short URL in your browser, right? I think in this place you can access the particular GitHub repository. So I'll give the 1 minute for move to the particular GitHub repository. Now I'm explaining how to work within this repository. Then you can start work within the repository and you can gain your practical knowledge within the GitHub action. Now you have a theoretical knowledge about the GitHub action basic things. You can try out this repository. You can get practical knowledge about the GitHub action. Then you can grab the badge and you can showcase your knowledge. So let's move to the particular repository, right? So I'm move to my GitHub repository. If you are not able to find out this particular repository within this URL, maybe you missed this place, what you have to do, just my GitHub account. And yeah, so you can move to my GitHub account. And yeah, so I just moved to my GitHub account. Then, so once you come this place, I would like to invite all of the students. If you are not following me through the GitHub, in this place, you can see follow now button. Just click it and follow. Why I follow my GitHub account? It's support to reach my GitHub account. That's true. So that's not the special things in my GitHub account, guys. You can find so many learning repository for learning about the GitHub. Again, learning about the GitHub action. Again, learning about the API things. Again, learning about the backend developments. Again, learning about the AI models. GitHub models, and yeah, MCP. You can find out so many learning repository in my GitHub account. That's why I am saying first follow me through the GitHub. In this place, you can see follow now button. First, follow me through the GitHub. Then what you have to do? Then you can move to repository, and in this place, search GitHub Action. So once you have searched this one, here you can see GitHub Action Learning Repository. So at the moment, the 150 students are for this repository, and I guess 100 plus students already completed this one. It's superb, right? So guys, you can try out this one. So just move to the particular GitHub repository, and once you have moved this, what do you have to do? So I always told this for every students before starting work within the GitHub repository. What do you have to do? You have to read a README file. So guys, every good GitHub repository has the good README file. In the README file, they guide how to work within the particular GitHub repository. Right? That's the thing. So before starting a particular GitHub repository, what we have to do? First, we have to read in a README, right? And again, uh, not only about the GitHub repository. If you are trying to start some work within the some external libraries or some external software product, first you have to read a documentation. In GitHub repository case, you can see documentation in the README file, right? So once I move to the README file, guys, here you can see a welcome message, and here you can see some swags opportunities. For grab these swags opportunities, what you have to do? You have the chance as the participant of this event, this GitHub Action 101 event. You have to charge with GitHub stickers and again GitHub t-shirts. So what you have to do? You have to get some screenshots, you have to get some uh, particular works things in your repository things, and you can grab these badges and you can move to uh, LinkedIn, and you have to write a feedback about today's session, and you have to write a feedback about this learning repository. In case you can add this learning repository URL, and you can tag myself, and again, don't forget these things. You have to tag GitHub education for your post. You can write the post in your LinkedIn, and again, you can write this post in your Twitter, and again, you can write this post in your uh, Instagram story. The special thing is when you are writing Instagram story, or when you are writing uh, particular posts in the LinkedIn or a Twitter, tag myself, and again tag the GitHub education. That's the thing. And you have to complete this repository as well. And once you have moved this place, here again, I have another invitation. So once you are moved this place, and you can fork this one and you can work this one, but in this place you can see a star one, right? So if you have come this place, first start this repository again. So that's very support for the growth of this particular repository. It's supposed to get more rich for this particular repository. That's mean uh, it's support for other students to find these particular learning resources. So that's why I invite all of the students make start, and again this support to find the particular repository very easily for you guys as well. So first is start. So I think 2 or 3 people only start here in the meeting. We can see, oh, we can see I think 60 plus students. So guys, just start this repository and then move to the readme, right? Once I scroll in this place, here you can see quick setups instructions. So what you have to do, first you have to fork this repository, and then you have to clone this repository. For as the participant of the GitHub action events, I think you have a minimum idea about the GitHub beginners things. If not, guys, what you have to do, you have to move YouTube, just search Nishal Gunawardhana, and then you can find Cheetah for beginner session in Sinhala and again in English language as well. So you can find that resources and you can learn about the Cheetah beginners things, and then you can move to this particular topics, right? Once you have cloned this one, what you have to do? First, you have to install this dependency, and then you can run the locally test, right? And yeah, then once you're done this set of things, here you what you have to do. Here you can see few levels of tasks, right? So first one is beginner task and intermediate and again advanced. So here you can see task.md about the whole task. So I just moved to that particular task file. And once you are scrolling here, you can see beginner task, what you have to do, run your first workflows. And again, what you have to do, understand workflow triggers. We already talk about the what is triggers and how it's work. Anyway, you can try out this thing, right? So in yourself, right? And again, third task is build and test locally, right? That's the things. Once you are done these three tasks, that means you can grab your beginner digital badge, right? Then again, you can move to the intermediate task and you can complete it and you can grab your intermediate badge. And again, you can move to advanced task and you can grab your particular digital badge. So guys, don't wait. Try out this particular GitHub repository now. So I'm not planning go through one by one, but in this GitHub repository, you can see A to Z guideline, and here 100 plus students already completed these tasks. Just reading only this README file, I mean this instruction. So that's why I'm not going to plan go through one by one. So as the beginner, you can read the particular instruction in the README, and then you can complete this particular task. Right. So yep, you can start this one and you can complete this task in yourself. So now I'm again move to my presentation. So guys, now you have to try out this demo and now you have to grab your particular digital badge by completing this task. Right. So now we are in the end of today's session, right? So it's a short and sweet session. I know it. And so if I of the demo and you can, if you have missed the some part of the sessions, you can watch these sessions in YouTube. It's maybe available within the 2 or 3 days in Nisal Gunawardhana YouTube channel, right? So this is my another invitation. If you are not follow me through the LinkedIn, just follow me, guys. Why I'm saying that, the thing is in my LinkedIn I share a lot of valuable resources for you guys, right? The thing is in my LinkedIn I share a lot of valuable resources for the students and again startup owners. So as the Microsoft for Startup Scout, I support startups, and as the community leader, I support for the students for their growth, right? So that's why I'm saying follow me through the LinkedIn. I already share my LinkedIn URL. If you cannot access this URL, just you can move to the LinkedIn and just type Nisal Gurubardhana. Then you can find my account very easily. And then what you have to do, then you have to follow me through the LinkedIn, and then you can grab so many opportunities through my LinkedIn. And again, so you have to winning swags charge task. So in this place, so yeah, again, I need to explain this one. So you have to winning chance of the swags. Take some screenshots and write some feedbacks in the LinkedIn, and again Instagram, and again in the your Twitter. I mean, formerly Twitter, in your X. You can write some post about today's sessions and today learning things, and you can add some feedback about today's sessions. And again, you can tag myself and again GitHub Educations for winning this particular set, right? Okay, so now if you have any questions, you can ask from me, guys, and say ask any question. But the thing is, this is actual me. Anyway, you can ask any kind of questions. So yeah, I'm here waiting for your questions. I'll give the 1 or 2 minutes for your questions. If you have any questions, you can type those questions in your chat. If unfortunately, if you are not able to access the particular chat in the Teams, guys, you can move to the Q&A and you can create the Q&A, right? So, guys, so I'm waiting for you and your questions, right? Cool. Right. So, no any questions? I think not any questions. Anyway, if you have any kind of questions after this event, also you can access the chat. And again, after this event, if you are not able to access the chat, you can add any kind of questions and you can through my LinkedIn. So just follow me to the LinkedIn and just make a chat, just make a conversation through the LinkedIn about your questions. So yeah, here I can see one question. Hi, Mr. Nisal, do we have your knowledge on broker or technologies? Yeah, so when we talk about the again, when we talk about the GitHub action, so today we are talking about the GitHub actions, learning basic things. So if you are planning to do some production level GitHub actions, CI/CD automation pipeline, so you have to get good idea about the uh, Docker and again containerizations, and again you have to get idea about the Kubernetes gates, those kind of things, right? So if you are try to learning these things. So also in my GitHub account, you can find out Docker one or run learning resources. So guys, you can move to my GitHub account and then go to GitHub repository app, and here you can find a Docker 101, and this is the resources, guys. You can try out this one and you can get good idea about the uh, containerizations with Docker, right? So in this repository, you can find out so many docs, learning resources about the basic things, and again cheat sheets, and again you can see hands-on experience things. Yeah, here you can see some theoretical things as well. So you can ref this and get good idea about the Docker, and you have to get idea about the Kubernetes, and you have to get idea about the cloud technologies, how to work within the cloud technologies, and you have to get idea about the again GitHub secrets and GSRC, and yeah, you have to get idea about the lot of things for production price before productions thing, right? So this is just a beginner friendly session. So just get a beginner level idea about these things, and you can continue these repository works, and you can get much more idea about the GitHub actions. And in this place, you can get idea about the containerizations as well. So then you can try out some production things as well. So I think you got the idea and you got the answer about your actions, right? So yeah, so I think if you have any other questions, uh, you can move to LinkedIn and you can send that questions through the LinkedIn chat. I'm always active in the LinkedIn. Then I'll reply and we can make a conversations and we can discuss about your question, right? So now uh, I'm moved to now we are in the end of today's sessions. And again, I have a quick news for you guys. So in the last few months, I conduct some development sessions for the students. So in the last 2 months, I completed the two backend development badges. One is completed and one is ongoing. And again, in the April, I'm planning to start another full stack development 8-week course for students. And the registration is closed soon, guys. If you are planning to join this particular month's back full stack development course, guys, you can apply this one as well. So let me share that particular course registration form URL as well. So this is the URL. So if you are not able to find this link, just you can move to my WhatsApp channel and you can find out that's one as well. Or you can find out these links through my social media as well. So yeah, again, thank you very much for uh, all of participants for today's session. So yeah, thank you. So again, if you have any kind of questions, you can move to LinkedIn and again ask those questions to the LinkedIn as